What'd you think about today? I mean, 2 hours, 30, 40 seconds to have people sound off about an impeachment of a president of the United States, no evidence, no official hearing, just here's 30, 40 seconds, back, forth, and then vote, impeach.
You know, a lot of this started under the Obama administration. We saw these political persecutions instead of legal prosecutions. What happened to Dinesh D'Souza is atrocious. They spied on President Trump's campaign. They locked up a bunch of his associates in connection with the Russia special counsel scam that had nothing to do with anything to do with Russia. It was all, tax evasion or whatever. This is just part and parcel of where the Democrat Party is right now. And they've been pulled to the left by the radical progressive base led by AOC and, the squad. And they've been trying to impeach this guy since day one. What we saw today was an expression of rage. It wasn't justice. And it certainly wasn't what the American people want Congress to be working on, which is, first and foremost, unity. Secondly, COVID relief. They spent 6 months trying to work on a COVID bill and came up with every excuse in the book, but then suddenly they find the ability to pass a sham impeachment in less than a week.
Yeah.
So it's such a scam. It's completely watered down the effectiveness and the power of, the impeachment tool. And frankly, I think President Trump should be proud of his 2 impeachments, because that just shows how much the swamp hates him and how much we love him.
I would not disagree with you on that one, Rogan. Yeah, it was pretty disgusting, though, to see the 10 Republicans side with the Democrats and vote to impeach the president. I want your thoughts on how do you think that vote today, with seeing those 10 do that, then seeing a handful of very vocal ones like Boebert and Gates and Jordan, and the list goes on, who stood in support of the president, but also support of a free and fair election last week when they objected. How is this going to fraction apart or break apart the GOP? Because I can tell by reading the statement that McConnell put out today and his rhetoric over the last week that there are some, especially a lot of the old guard, that are only worried about trying to salvage a party and help a party. And I don't think Americans, especially conservative Americans like you and me, give two you-know-whats about a party. We care about putting America and Americans first, which is what our president has done.
I think the 10 people listed were working to, please their donors, to please their friends at CNN and MSNBC, to please their friends at the DC cocktail parties. But they certainly weren't listening to the base. 96% of the GOP voted to not impeach President Trump today, which I was very pleasantly surprised. But it goes to show what is coming down the pipeline. Most presidents, after they finish their term, they kind of slink off into the distance. George Bush did some watercolor paintings. Obama, wrote his $60 million book. I think President Trump is going to reset the dynamic and be one of the loudest, most ambitious post-presidency voices we've probably ever had in American history, as he should be. And a lot of these Republicans know that he still commands the love and loyalty of the base, and he's still our most, our best fundraiser, our best policy guide, and we're going to be sticking by him to help us navigate through this storm after January 20th. So I think there's a lot of smart Republicans that voted no today. Shame on the 10 that did. I have a feeling for most of them, this will be their last term in Congress.
So I just got something. You're probably going to see it on your phone as well. This is breaking news. It says investigators believe the riot at Capitol Hill was planned and not inspired by President Donald Trump. This just coming down from several different news organizations, but this is what the FBI is putting out. So evidently in their investigation of the 160 different people and all the background they've been looking into, this was pre-planned. It was going to happen no matter what the president said. So their reason for impeachment, judging by what I just read, what the FBI says, was a complete sham and total political theater BS.
Yep, I read that right before we jumped on here, and the charge that they laid against President Trump was incitement of insurrection.
Right.
That requires that he created the insurrection by his words in a very close temporal manner. It's very, very difficult to convict someone under incitement. It has to be like right in the heat of the moment, and then things have to happen as a result. Being angry at the government, being angry at election results, that's not incitement. In fact, the First Amendment is designed to protect those types of words. But, you know, it is very interesting that that conclusion came out from the very corrupt FBI after the vote had been made in the House. Right. So goes to show that due process is still very important to get the facts. And
that's timing.
You know,
that's timing. Yeah. Just like the president's speech yesterday at the border and the FBI had their press conference at the exact same time. This is all planned. Anyway, we're out of time. Rogan O'Hanley, also known as DC Drano, thanks for coming on the program, man. You stay safe. Have a good night.